Yeah, from the previous video. Let's continue with our option 4 about the linear regression. So if the midterm 1 and midterm 2, they have the correlation coefficient R, then instead, for example, if John got 1 standard deviation below the mean on midterm 1, instead we're using the same 1 standard deviation below. If the correlation coefficient is 0.8, then we just use the 0.8 standard deviation below the mean. So that's the other way, the other approach. So this one, we kind of, if we use the linear regression, we can consider the relationship between the midterm 1 and midterm 2. Because like earlier we say, the student got the grades from midterm 1, they may not have the same standing as the midterm 2. And the distribution for the both midterm exam, they may not be the same. So we see if we use the linear regression, how should we do that? So of course, if we want to use the linear regression, we need to apply those function we have before, right? So we have the standard unit function, correlation function, slope, and intercept function. So let's use that. So the first thing, let's see how is the correlation for our midterm 1 and midterm 2. So you can see here, actually I already run through each code. So that's why I didn't run again, so we can save some time. Okay, so then, right, so midterm 1 and midterm 2, the correlation, actually R is 0.8. Not too bad, right? Actually, they do have good correlation. So since they have the correlation is 0.8, so that's why when we want to find the midterm 2 grade, so we still convert the midterm 1 grade to the standard unit. But instead to use exactly the same standard unit to find the midterm 2 grade, we're using the standard unit, we times our correlation coefficient. Okay, so then we have the midterm 2 standard deviation. So then we plus the average. So then here is the, according to the option 2, that will be the estimation for John's midterm 2 grade. Also, that will be 21.7. Okay, kind of in between from what we have above those options. Okay, but to use this one, but I think still we just see the correlation coefficient number kind of not enough, right? So how about we just also still see the scatter plot from midterm 1 and midterm 2. Okay, so you can see here is the midterm 1 and midterm 2 scatter plot. So it's very good. We do see very clear they have like the positive correlation. Okay, so since they have positive correlation, we can find kind of a straight line going through to represent the regression here, right? Okay, so then if so, how about we try to find our regression line? Okay, so the same thing. In order to find the regression line, we need to have the slope. We need to have our intercept. So we just plug into our function. Okay, so then let's get that fitted line into our scatter plot. Then we look again. Yeah, so that's our scatter plot. And you can see the fitted line, actually the same thing, we just plug in the value in the slope and the intercept to get the value. So you can see here, that's the regression line. So John's midterm 1 grade is 21. Okay, so yeah, kind of the midterm 2 grade from this regression line is 21 something. Also, that's earlier we got the 21.77. So what else we can do? Right, we got the regression line, right? So we want to know how well this regression line is, right? So how do we see this regression line, how well it is? Right, it's not a bad idea. We try to see the residual, right? Okay, so that's why here, let's get the residual. We calculate the residual. So then the residual definition, right, is that your prediction minus your actual value. Okay. So your actual value minus your prediction. Okay, so we can see the procedure. Then the residual scatter plot look like this. How's that? Okay, so we can see, right, they have positive and negative residual. I think when midterm 1 is kind of below 15, they have more positive residual. So then later on, they kind of combine both. But one thing is, remember we talk about residual. They don't have any pattern. And of course, residual average always 0. So kind of this one doesn't have the pattern. So this residual actually look fine, not too bad. So the residual look fine. So one thing is, this one, if we use the regression line to do the estimation, the same thing, we're using one midterm 1 grade. So then we got the corresponding midterm 2 grade. So that's the option 2, your estimation for the midterm 2 grade for John. But also continue with that, because remember in option 3, we talk about if they do have the correlation, but also one thing is, since we don't know how John's study pattern is, or how his progress line learning curve is, so we also list all the students' grades from midterm 1 the same as John, and we see their midterm 2 grade. So that's we also think about to using this average to kind of consider is one approach as well. But the same thing, remember before we talk about, sometimes we also can using the near its neighbor. We kind of using maybe a range. So John midterm grade is 21. We got all the 21 students midterm 2 grade. So we try to find the average. But then how about we give them a little range? For example, the midterm 1 grade, we just using John's grade. We exactly using 21 exactly. How about we just get the people 2 points below 21 and 2 points above 21. Then we see the histogram for their midterm 2 grade. Okay, so this one is kind of, we got in the each range, so for example, if actual grades for midterm 1 is 21, so then we just got the range is positive, plus minus 2. Okay, so then if we're using this one to find the average, maybe that also is a good idea as well, right? So this one is, we talk about, we can using the average to represent the range. So if we're using this way, according to the midterm 1 and the midterm grade 2, midterm 1 and midterm 2 grade, okay? So how about we got the near its neighbor, kind of the range through that, and using the mean to represent the grade as the estimation. So that's why here we have a function we call average midterm 2. So this midterm 2 estimation grade, we just passing midterm 1. So instead of we just using the exact value, exact scored for the midterm 1 and the students midterm 2 grade to find the average, then we give them a little range of that. So using the midterm 1 grade, they are positive or negative, plus or minus 2 from the midterm 1 grade. So using this range, so then we find the mean for that. So then we see if we do this way, then you see here you plug in, then actual value for the midterm 1 for John actually is 21, right? So if we do so, oh yeah, that's good. Actually the grade is 21, estimation grade is 21 as well. Okay, so you see here, this one we kind of use in option 3 as well, right? But did you remember in option 3 we're using the same midterm 1 grade, and then we find the average. Oh, you see here, right? They are 21.88. But here if we plus minus 2, the estimation, the average, yeah, actually it is 21 something as well, even just a little smaller than 2188. So then if we're using this way, okay, since we have the function, how about we apply this function to the table? Okay, so that's our midterm to average. So then we're using this one kind of is the estimate value, the predicted value. Okay, so then we try to draw the scatter plot and the fitted line. But also you can see actually this one is not straight line at all. Yeah, this one actually they do have a little straight line for, so maybe above 22 they have one straight line, but then below 22 the slope change, kind of slope become a little smaller. Okay, so that is another fitted, or we don't say fitted line, we just say that's the estimation, the prediction line, prediction curve or something. Okay, so compared to this one and our regression line, so which one you prefer and how you like that? Okay, so now back to our option. So we give you actually more than 4 options, right? So we have in option 3 and option 4, we also show you if we're using the average for that range. Okay, so the result. Okay, so which one you prefer? Which one you will pick that for your, if you are instructed to use that? Or since we have so many options, right? So you can see option 1 is 26 something. Option 2 is less than 20. But option 3 is 21. Okay, so then we're using the average is around 21 as well. So then here the linear regression, right, the estimation is 21. Using the regression line is 21.67. And then if we're using kind of the average in that range, will be 21.15. Okay, so if we combine all the options, kind of like 21 something will be a better estimation for John. Okay, so if you are instructor, what you will do? Yeah, so usually that's different. That's very difficult to happen, right? So if the student tell me they cannot take the midterm exam, yeah, so try to. So if you have this situation, please email your instructor as soon as possible. So actually we can try to find the proctor room or something to let you to do the makeup test. Otherwise, using midterm 1 grade to apply to midterm 2 is one option. Or actually, we have more option can do is, since usually the final exam is comprehensive. So that's why, since midterm 1, midterm 2, all the midterm exam they covered, will cover in final exam as well. So usually for me, I use the final exam grade to enlarge to apply for your missing midterm. Okay, so I think that's about our last lecture. So I think the tutoring part, since we don't have time, so I will skip that. So here, just remind you, and also this one is our last lecture video. Okay, so afterward, remember next week you'll only have your last project 3 to work. So they will be open on I think on Thursday in week 14 we will have module 15 unlock. So then you will have your final week 16 you will be only your final exam. And your final exam, remember, that's comprehensive. That's cover chapter 1 to chapter 18 from your textbook, and also cover all the module from module 1 to module 15, of course, because including your project. So how to prepare for that? Of course, to go over, make sure you do your homework assignment, your lab exercise yourself. That's the key point. And if we want to prepare well, so make sure you have all your notes handy textbook handy before you start the exam. And also the exam is open book, open note. So that's why you make sure you have everything ready before you start your exam. And you already have midterm exam before. So if you didn't do well, or you kind of not sure how to prepare for the lecture before midterm exam, so I would recommend maybe you just go over some question if you got it wrong from midterm exam, and make sure you understand now. So that's all our lecture for our COMSC156. I hope you enjoyed the class, and good luck on your final exam.